to Wales. Wales through a goal. Slots it beyond Foderingham. And the Millers are in front in the South Yorkshire derby. And for the first time in 42 years, Rotherham United win at Bramall Lane. On the edge of the box for Doffin. He can hit them. And he does. The Dolphin has scored an absolute screamer for Rotherham United. Rotherham United have secured their championship status for next season.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello, everybody. What?
Why do you let me press the buttons?
What do you mean? Is that the end?
You just sat through last season's intro and not battered an eyelid.
What a great start.
Yeah.
Good start to the show. Thank you all for being with us. This is a start I didn't expect. As per the standards we have created over the last few years. Welcome to New York Talk. This is the fan show. So there is a link in the description. If you're watching live, there is a link in the description where you can click on that, join us, and give us your thoughts on the season so far. What's gone right, what's gone wrong, positive news, negative news. We'll take it. Mick, how are you?
All good, mate. Thank you. You?
Very, very good. Thank you very much. Danny's with us. How are you doing, Danny?
I'm doing all right. Probably shouldn't be drinking Leffy Blonde when I've got an open shift tomorrow and I need to be up at Lord knows what time, but here we are drinking beer and talking Millers. Happy days.
That's what we do. It's you know, you're young still-ish. You're older a few days ago, but still youngish. So why not?
Mate, my back hurts when I sneeze now.
I don't know what to talk about, Danny, to be honest with you. That is interesting, though. Tuesday night. So on Tuesday night, there's obviously not our usual slot. Like I said, we went to the fan show because we enjoyed the last one that we did. So we'll hopefully try again and hopefully get some of you to come in and tell Mick he's an idiot or tell me I'm an idiot or Danny or whatever. If Elliot's in the comments or wherever, was it Elliot?
Yes, Elliot. Dribble. Total dribble. And he's right. Or she.
I mean, he clearly know you very well.
Yes.
So we'll cover bits. We're not going to cover too much into the Charlton game because obviously we've got the preview show on Thursday. But we'll cover bits of it. We'll cover a bit more of Saturday, to be honest with you, because there was quite a lot of Saturday we didn't talk about. So if anyone wants to come in and review Saturday a little bit more as well, we'll talk to you about that as well. Make sure you've subscribed first of all on YouTube. If you're watching YouTube, and give us a thumbs up. Give the show a like as well. If you're watching on X, give us a follow on there as well. Mick, let's nip back to Saturday. We talked about Sam Nombe briefly on Sundays, but I don't think we gave him enough credit, really. We hate praising Malik Wilkes, but the consistent performance. And he hasn't scored. I know that. It's like a goal. But I'm impressed with what Sam Nombe's shown us so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's been outstanding. Your Wi-Fi is appalling. I think it's your Wi-Fi. Could be mine. I don't know. But you're very lucky anyway.
Me as well. It's nice for it not to be me for a change, actually.
Yeah, I mean, he was outstanding on Saturday. And as we've said before, you know, he seems to have found a yard or two apace this season. And whilst he didn't get on the score sheet, he caused so many problems for that Huddersfield defence with his pace, his strength, everything that we talked about. It was there in abundance, and had it not been for Malik Wilkes and his goal involvements, I think he would have probably been running close to man of the match. I thought it was outstanding, really, really good.
We said at the start of the season, Danny, that it's a big season for Nombe. Cost of the price tag is coming. If you're coming for free last season, I think it's different. But because of the price tag, it's going to put a bit of pressure on him. And I was worried that we wouldn't see anything that justified the tag. But we are really. I'm almost excited to see what he. I just feel like once he gets a goal, we're fine. I just think he needs that goal, and then I'll get loads.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's not quite up to the £1 million price tag level yet, but he's certainly showing more of that price tag than he has done last season. But I think it's because we're actually playing him correctly. Matt's gone and gone to go and hit his Wi-Fi box with a big stick, so he'll be back shortly. But no, I am liking what I'm seeing from Nombe. He seems to be getting in better positions this season, and he seems to have been almost coached more. You know, I think it's Paul Rayner who's like sort of found how to slot him in properly. And he's already scored in the cup, just waiting for his league goal now. But like I say, he's getting in the better positions. He did that against Huddersfield, that's for sure. And yeah, his league goal, is coming, and it'll come very shortly because he's such a more mobile player this season. He seems to be here, there, and everywhere. He seems to be more of the engine up front, whereas Clark Harris seems to be, the more not stationary centre forward, but Nombe seems to be doing the majority of the running and getting into different positions and making the clever runs forward through the defence, which we didn't really see last season until the latter stages where we started seeing him play correctly. And it goes back to what Jed said last season: if you play him correctly, he'll score a handful for you. And he's certainly showing more of his worth this season.
Yeah. Emma Wood saying Mick has been right on this season so far. Yeah, there you go.
Thanks, Emma.
He's not going to fit back through the door, is he?
Well, let's be fair. I mean, I've taken some indirect pelters on the social media. A few people have actually named me, but there's been lots of negative comments about how negative I've been, particularly, how negative the podcast has been. And let's be fair, I've been the negative one on here. But I think I'd like to think that we've been reasonably fair right through. We have given Steve Evans some stick because the performances have been well under par. And as a manager, I think he's got to expect that. We were given loads and loads of stick when we tried to look after Paul Warne. When the performances weren't great. So, you go the other way and you get loads of sticks. So it's just a question of trying to be as, I'm going to say balanced, because I know I'm not being balanced. I fully accept that. I'm not going to stick my head up. I'm not going to start changing my mind now and saying, everything's rosy and garden, because it ain't. But we've been right, I think, so far. The performances up to Saturday were poor. Saturday was a lot better, albeit still not to the level that we expected or wanted. But we have also said time and time again that it was so early in the season. We're now just into September, literally just. And things may well change. I'm sure they will. They usually do. So a team that starts off like a train at the beginning of the season doesn't generally go all the way through the season like a train. A team that starts off badly, unless they are really bad, and we are not really bad, don't tend to be really bad all season. So things will change and they will turn around. But it's not been great. It's not been great up until Saturday, and it was a lot better. So what you see, I think Richard's put that in the comments there. You can only comment on what you see, and I think we've all seen. Well, we've talked about it enough, haven't we? But throughout that, Sam Nombe has been a shining light in that, I think.
Yeah, completely agree. Hopefully my Wi-Fi has stabilised. Mine.
Yes.
Yeah, it has done. It's a lot better now.
Wonderful news. Don't forget you can join us if you want. The link is in the show notes. If you fancy joining us, that's also the pinned tweet on Twitter. If you want to go on our Twitter and go through that. You can tell us whether we're right or wrong. Martin Holland is with us, as is Sarah Ogden, Kim Hayward, Darren Cook, Richard. Tobias is with us all the way from Stockholm. Harry saying Danny Moore's just scored for Donny. That's the proof that the. It's funny what happens when you don't headbutt somebody.
I bet he weren't wearing a Donny shirt in pre-match either, so that's possibly another reason why.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair. Emma Wood says the atmosphere was back. Good, back was a good feeling. Yeah, I wondered, also that last 15 minutes of the game. I wonder if in a couple of months' time we'll sort of sit, maybe I'll be able to look back and kind of pinpoint that was the moment, which kind of brought everybody together. Is maybe strong. I don't think there was that much division anyway, but teams need something sometimes, and that last 10-15 minutes could turn out to be a very crucial period of that game, which hopefully springboards us.
Yeah, I think it could potentially end up being a kick up the arse moment. Because let's face it, in the first 3 games, even in the cup games as well, we weren't very good at all. It felt like we got the key in the ignition, but the engine wasn't starting. I mean, even in the early stages of the Huddersfield game, we weren't very good either. I think it took the red card and the red card and the goal for us to really go, come on now, we need to put a showing in here. And I think it wasn't only the fans that did that, it was the players as well. So, yeah, I do hope in, 2-3 games' time, we do look back on the Huddersfield game, especially 70 minutes plus in that game, and say, yeah, that was our kick up the arse moment. I just hope it's not a red herring, because I'm still a bit 50-50 after the first few games. You can say, yeah, it's early doors in the season, and teams haven't blitzed the league in the first few games and carried it on all the way through, other than Ipswich potentially last season. And hopefully we do just crack on, and I just hope it's not a complete slow burner where we peak in April. I'd hope us to find a real form around December, January time, and then carry the momentum forwards, and then who knows what will happen. But yeah, it could be a kick up the arse moment, and I really hope that it is.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was last time in the League One season, we went on an incredible unbeaten run from about November time to November to March, something like that. Similar to the Paul one. Paul one was a bit earlier in the season, wasn't it, I suppose. But if you're going to, that's what's going to have to happen. You're going to have to go on an unbeaten run or a winning run. So you're going to need to find that at some point. Back to Malik Wilkes, Mick, because we like him. And also, I don't know if you noticed this, we managed to catch a lot of Wednesday fans with that clipping of the instant reaction video, which I was quite proud of. We were like, I'll put this out because he's been great. But also, it's a double thing. I can catch some pigs here. And we caught some pigs, didn't we? That was fun, that.
Yeah, it was. And to be fair, we even caught some at work, which were even better for me. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, thanks for that. Thanks very much for that. It was it brightened my day up at work on Monday, which was it was a very, very, very long day. So it made me happy on Monday. So yeah, and well, they don't know what they're talking about, do they? It's quite clear, And I think, to be fair, the vast majority of them know they don't know what they're talking about as well. So and we cheered some Blades fans up as well because they enjoyed it. So it's like a win-win, really. And he had a great game, the lad. And he's got to keep fit. Obviously, that's been an issue for him in the past. So hopefully, if he keeps fit and Evans can manage to keep it motivated along with the rest of the squad, because he ain't the standout player necessarily. I don't think he is the standout player. There are players just as good. So, and don't forget, we've got Andre Green to come back.
Yeah.
So there are lots of positive signs after Saturday, whereas prior to that there hadn't been any. So but Malik Wilkes has been a standout so far of the season. After 4 league games, it's not really much of a qualification, is it? But nevertheless, it was great on Saturday, and it gave us the opportunity to snare a few. What is there not to like?
Perfect. I particularly enjoy the Wednesday fans who said he's found his level. What was the same level you signed him at? You signed him at the same level. What are you talking about? But yeah, very, very enjoyable. Rapid at the time, Rodo says a win on Saturday sends on a massive run. It has that potential that I mentioned a minute ago. If you beat Charlton as well, you're beating Huddersfield and Charlton. Before Saturday just gone, those two are on perfect record in the league. If you can then take something, and we'll talk about this again on Thursday a bit more, if you can finally break that away duck, you can go on and run. But having said that, we've got Birmingham in 2 weeks' time. So it's not all bright and easy. This is actually a relatively tough start that we've got. But another one, we really are getting excited then, and then it becomes not a bad start then, does it, if you win again?
No, not really. I think the opening 3 games in the league I think it fed into the overall disappointment that a few fans felt, because they seemed like the winnable games before the big run. So they felt like our chance to really get some points on the board, and we didn't. But we showed against Huddersfield that we can get them by hook or by crook. And I think Saturday is the chance to build off the Huddersfield game and maybe not rely on a bit of luck to get us over the line. But I think the big duck that we need to break, maybe Saturday, maybe at some other point in the season, we'll have to wait and see, is getting that elusive away win. When we get that, then we can go off into whatever sunset we feel like. But it's always going to be at us now until we win. As soon as we get the away win, it's gone. But after that, it'll start nibbling away at us. So it's probably better to try and do it early by not any means necessary, but of that inkling. You say, if we win ugly.
Am I the only person in Rotherham with working Wi-Fi?
It seems that way. Just as mine's all right, Danny's just gone. Brilliant.
Surely, if anybody in the comments has got working Wi-Fi, please click on the link and talk to me, because I'm going to be sat here on my own in a minute.
Oh, damn it. We'll take him out because I'm sure he'll come back. Mark says it's a good job Matt had a shave when he did with the away record, otherwise he'd look like Gandalf. Yeah. So on the final one, that one. Where I've had another comment, I've lost it now. Anyway, Neil Lewis is going to live on Sky on Saturday. International break, the blackout doesn't count, so 3 o'clock on Saturday you can watch Rotherham United against Charlton. If you're not going down there, and obviously some will. Just on that, Mick, it only got confirmed on Monday that the game was on. A little bit disappointing that, I thought. By the letter of the rules, you've only got to give 5 days notice, so they did what they had to do. But it probably should be something that should be looked at by the authorities and whatnot, because if it's Doncaster away, it's not so bad, is it? Because it's only down the road. This is a proper trek to London. You've got to plan this, whether you're getting a train or driving or coach. You've got to plan ahead for this.
Yeah.
And had this been postponed on Monday, there's probably somebody around who was paid £100 for train tickets and the stuffed. So I was really disappointed. Not necessarily in Charlton because they played by the rules, but probably just the rules need improving.
I don't think that the considerations of fans travelling is a consideration for either the league or opposition clubs. Nathan Jones, I think, will probably just wait to see how many of his players turned up on Monday morning after his meltdown on Saturday. He was probably worried that they were going to end up with half a team, not through international calls, but from sulking after his paddy on Saturday. I don't. Obviously, we don't know how they played. No idea how they played on Saturday. But the way that Jones went off, you would suggest that it wasn't great, and they're going to be get-atable. But we know, don't we? That every team in this division are going to get atable quite clearly, as we've proved ourselves having been got at. So it is disappointing that it took so long to confirm it's on, but it's on. That's the important thing. And it's probably a game you want to get out of the way earlier, an away game you want to get out of the way earlier in the season anyway. So I think we all thought at the beginning that Charlton were going to be one of the front runners in this league, and I think that's probably proven the case. And no matter what your view is on Nathan Jones, and we all had views whether he were going to come to us or not, he's an effective manager in terms of what he's able to do with his teams. Whether he's an effective player manager, who knows? But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. So, but as you said, we'll talk about it on Thursday. We'll give it a proper coat of looking at on Thursday. But it's probably a good time to play him in the mood that Mr. Jones is in at the moment.
Absolutely. Danny's back. Why Danny's Wi-Fi's alive?
It probably heard that your Wi-Fi is playing up and just go, no, I shall not be defeated. I'm going to kick you offline completely. There you go.
Absolutely. Right. We've got time to talk about things. Let's move away from Rotherham United briefly. I want to talk about the Leicester situation. I don't know if anybody's seen the news that broke over the last couple of hours. Last season, the EFL tried to impose a points deduction on Leicester, and it turns out the EFL didn't have jurisdiction because the incidents that happened were during the Premier League. The Premier League have tried to impose a points deduction, and it turns out the Premier League don't have jurisdiction to apply a points deduction. This is a bit of a shambles, Danny, and it's a kick in the face to I'll be honest with the clubs that are trying to run themselves within a relatively decent way, which is us and several other clubs, because Leicester overspent significantly and will have overspent last year to get promoted again, and it's fine. You crack on, lads. Spend whatever you want. Don't worry about it. These points are literally pointless. If you're not going to give them a point deduction or something, what is the point?
Yeah, exactly. It's Leicester who exploited a little loophole in the system, isn't it? And this has sort of found a way through it. And I mean, it's a bit like Wilkes. They've been weirdly clever, which is technically classed as cheating, but also at the same time it's not illegal. So it's like a weird catch-22 situation. So they've exploited it and they've got away with it, and they just couldn't close the hole quick enough. And the EFL and the Premier League have both been left with egg on the faces because Leicester are the last one to slip through the net effectively. And it's left a bitter taste in every other club's mouth, like you say, because they overspent and will not face any ramifications from it, all because they found a little hole to slip through, and they did. But I have a horrible feeling that the next club to try and do it and, fiddle the books or overspend or whatever will face the full wrath of it all now because, Leicester slipped through. So next one, Amber will come down. And it doesn't seem fair, but then financing football isn't fair these days, is it? It's not been fair for a long time.
I was just about to say what Richard's just put in the comments. If they've had if what we're saying is that this independent commission are saying that, but you're not allowed to give a points deduction, you've got no authority or power to do that. Who's in charge of this independent commission? Is it some sort of Saudi lawyers from somewhere? Because if that's the case, the 115 charges faced by Man City all of a sudden become, well, we're not going to get points taken off us, because neither the Premier League nor the EFL are allowed to do that according to whatever rules are in play. And whatever rules were in play at the time that Leicester broke the rules, they were in play when Man City broke the rules. But if Leicester can't be punished, the argument would be that neither can Man City. And also, points deductions for Everton last season, for Forest, I think Forest got some as well, should be taken away. And any prize money, any prize money for finishing at whatever position in the league will have to be redistributed from the clubs that they go above. It has potential ramifications right the way across. And this is football that hasn't got its house in order, and it hasn't got its house in order because it's all about the money. It's all about the money. So if you've got the more money you've got, the more chance you've got of getting off with anything or everything. And it stinks. It stinks, and it will always punish the clubs that are trying to be run sustainably and properly. So we knew last season that Leicester were going to be in trouble. With the quality of squad that they got and the wages that they were paying, were just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, it's an issue. It's an issue if we're saying that you can't deduct points off teams. Well, what's the point? What can you do? Fine them.
I don't think you can do that, to be honest with you. It seems ridiculously complicated. Just to hark back, Danny mentioned a minute ago that when administration became a thing in football, Leicester were the first team to go into administration, and there was no punishment because Leicester did that and got away with it and got no punishment. Every team that followed after got the book thrown at them, namely Rotherham United 3 times. So somebody else, you're right, whoever it is, Everton or whatever else, whoever is next up is going to get an absolute battering once they tighten the rules up. I think this comes from the EFL and Premier League not working together properly.
The Premier League are not going to work with anybody, though, are they?
Well, that's what I mean. But they're now screwed because they've got to refuse to work with somebody properly. They now look like absolute mugs, don't they?
Well, the Premier League have looked like mugs for many years. It's not about football. We know it's not about football. We could go on forever about it, couldn't we? You know, the amount of power that is within the hands of 6 so-called football clubs, and they're not football clubs any longer. They're just businesses, just multi-million-pound corporations, and the impact that can have on football clubs and football supporters up and down the country, and the power they've got over them is just nothing short of. It's nothing short of just disgraceful. You know, it's a monopoly. There's a monopolies commission to stop this happening in other areas, in other industries, but football seems to have managed to skirt its way around that at the moment. But listen, it's a massive can of worms, a huge can of worms. But there has to be some form of effective punishment for clubs that break the rules. And the only effective punishment realistically is points deductions. Make them play in another league. Not going to happen, is it?
Because they've got to agree to it. They can't put a rule in place because clubs have got to agree to it. So why don't they agree to it?
And the top 6 are never going to agree to it, are they? The worst thing that happened to English football is that this Super League didn't happen. That would have been the best thing for us as football supporters to happen, in my view. Get rid of them, get them out of the country, just get rid of them. You know, you'll have a few thousand actual football supporters of Chelsea and of Man City and of Tottenham. A few thousand of them will be disappointed. The rest of us would be happy as Larry. So, anyway, hey ho.
I'm wondering about Birmingham, if they broke any rules. Right now, no. But now, certainly if they haven't, the plan for Birmingham would be in 2 or 3 years' time, depending on what happens. I suspect if they do go this season, they'll be in trouble the 3rd year, especially because they'll spend 50 million. They'll do a similar thing next summer, and then if they do go up in the Championship, they'll be well over. I would guess they'll be well over everything. So it's a big year for Birmingham. You expect them to bring the league anyway. You expect them to go up. But they kind of put pressure on themselves by spending so much money, really. But each to their own. We'll see what happens with that. Is there anything else we want to mention tonight, boys?
I think we're short of running into Thursday's episode. No, I'm all right. Unless anyone else wants to join in. And
do you want to mention about what Steve Evans said happened with transfer deadline day? Because we didn't really get a chance to talk about that on Sunday.
Right, we didn't get a chance to mention that. So if we'll mention if anyone else wants to join in, the link, the description where you watch on YouTube, you'll see the description. If you're watching on X, it's the pinned tweet. It should be the pinned tweet pinned post on our feed. Danny, talk to us and tell everybody who hasn't seen the Paul Davis article how close we came and the big man pulled the plug.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded a bit weird, to be honest, the way it was worded. Like, it was like, wage demands, and, you know, the group's really close together on the wage demands, which I quite sincerely doubt, if I'm being honest. Because there's no way Hugill and Humphreys, despite the wage reduction due to relegation, aren't on a fair whack more than the rest of the squad. I imagine Clark Harris will be on a fair whack as well. So I don't quite believe, again, it's personal opinion, but I don't quite believe that there isn't an imbalance in the squad wage-wise, because an imbalance to me says that no one is a grand a week above anybody else, which I sincerely doubt. And the 2 players we were looking at, apparently we pulled the plug due to wage demands of these 2 players, which I kind of get because it's deadline day and you expect to pay a little bit more on deadline day. But with it being deadline day, to me, it's like, well, why wouldn't you? You know, if they were loans, you would send them back early. If they were permanents and they were players that we'd been after for a bit, or next man in because we couldn't get Peck from Sheffield United, but you thought they were going to make a substantial difference, why wouldn't you go for him? And apparently Tony Stewart was ready to spend money on these players, which I also doubt due to recent news that's come out as well. So it's a bit, what's happened here? You know, it seems to be a bit of a muddle together in what was ultimately a very slow and disappointing end to the transfer window, if I'm being honest. mean, I didn't mind. I was off eating a 16-ounce haddock at Whitby's, so I didn't really mind. But at the same time, it's like it would have been nice to get someone in because, it felt like it before the win. It felt like against Huddersfield. It felt like Evans had overpromised because he'd promised like getting the free agent so he can go and spend money later in the window to pay to like fill the holes and improve the squad. But that second bit never happened. All right, we got Wilkes in, and it's turned out he is quite good at football at this level, despite what Wednesday fans thought. But it felt like an overpromising and under-delivering on deadline day, personally, which was a bit of a sour taste. So thank Christ we won.
Well, yeah, I think what we asked for on Friday was transparency, and I think that's what Stevens is trying to give us. That I don't necessarily believe everything that it said, which is kind of fine. I understand he's got to sugarcoat things or not tell full truth. The way I read it is that he's trying to take a bit of heat away from the club.
Yeah.
Question marks on when the money's going out.
Yeah, I think you're right, Matt. I think that's absolutely that's what's to me shines through that interview with Paul Davis. That there's been quite a lot of criticism, not necessarily from us. I don't think we were too critical of them on Friday night. It was just there was some discussion about the lack of communication, but that's all. But social media was alive with criticisms of the club and the lack of anything coming from them on deadline day. So I think you're right. I think it was possibly a bit of a damage limitation exercise just to keep people, just to sort of mitigate what they hadn't done before. So whether you believe him or not is irrelevant, really. Something's been said. We have to take it on face value. We have no other choice. So it's done now. It's done. It's over and done with. And there might be some free agents in. There might not be. We'll have to wait and see. So let's see how that pans out.
We don't want free agents. just give me flashbacks to last year, to be honest. But yeah, transfer window. We'll tell over the next 4 months how good the transfer window be, won't we? The proof is in the pudding, as they say. We asked for transparency. Everyone's just tried to give it us. That's all. That's a positive. For me, that's definitely a step in the right direction. Yeah. Whether you believe him or not is another thing, but I think what he's tried to do is the right thing.
Yeah.
Right. Should we knock it on, Ed?
I think.
What about the standing stuff? That could get some fan opinions in.
Let's just stay standings, and if we don't get anybody else come, we'll knock it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Safe standing has been introduced in the away end, Mick. This is to do with the safety advisory group. I can't remember what they're called now, to be honest with you. I don't really care. The safety advisory group have said that they need to have away standing or reduce the capacity, which is interesting. It'd be great if they did it in the home end, but there's obviously reasons they haven't. If there was a reason to do it, they would have already done it, I think. But I would like it.
I mean, there's a cost involved, isn't there? There's a cost involved, and why would the club want to pay it? And I don't know whether they're now being forced into paying it by some advisory group. Who knows? I don't know. It's not an issue for me. I don't mind one way or the other personally. But I'm not being forced into doing stuff.
Fair enough. We have somebody who is joining us. We will bring them in now. We have Scott with us. How are we doing, Scott?
Not bad, man. Yo.
Very, very good. I'm going to turn my camera off just to try and improve my Wi-Fi. What are your thoughts on the season so far, Scott? Positive after the win? Is it become positive, or what's your feeling so far?
50-50, really. Could have been better. Performances haven't been too bad, to be honest. We just haven't took us chances when they've come. If we had, we'd be sat near top at league, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point.
Yeah, valid. Very valid.
We scored I think we would have been on something like plus 57 goal difference a minute if we took them all.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Our XG is still very, very good today. Our XG is second best in the league. I can't remember. There's somebody above us. I think it's Stockport. That performance so far, Scott. We also mentioned Wilkes over the last couple of games. Is he the standout, or somebody else that's shone for you?
I said Wilkes had been standout, but Powell hasn't been too bad either. I like Joe Powell a lot.
Yeah, I thought on Saturday, him and James, as been pointed out by many people, I thought him and James.
Down left hand side.
Mm.
Yeah, they've been quite well down left. I don't think Axe is a right back though.
No.
Are you sure? I don't know how often you listen, Scott, but we do. We've chatted about this, and our understanding is he was bought as a right back. I mean, I don't know.
I've seen that advertiser. I've seen that advertiser, what Evans said. Well, I thought he was a defensive midfielder myself.
Yeah. It just shows how wrong you can be, doesn't it? He is wasted in that position, isn't he? You know.
Yeah, he's wasted there. Yeah, we need Rafferty back as soon as possible.
Yeah,
definitely.
How much? Well,
I don't think McDonald's a right back either.
Well, he isn't, is he?
No. Yeah, we signed him as a midfielder, didn't we?
He's as much a right back as Hax is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on, Matt. Sorry, you were going to say something.
I was going to ask, how important do you think Rafferty is in terms of getting some balance and stability back to the squad? We've only got him for one game against Exeter, really, so we don't really know what the balance squad looks like, but it feels like he's going to be a key player for us just for balance, Rafferty.
Yeah, we definitely need balance on right. Definitely. We're not having an original backup for Rafferty. It's misshaped most of the time.
And that's possibly been a problem. That's possibly been one of the issues that we've had with the performances throughout the season up to now. That there's been no balance, like you say, on that, particularly on that right hand side. And what's happened is it's caused the more forward players on the right to come inside, to drift inside, which is giving us absolutely no width, particularly out on that side. So you may well be right there, yeah.
They seem to target that our right there, left hand side a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Which if you're playing a team who've got injury issues down that side, that's what you're going to do, isn't it? You know,
It is. Yeah, that's true.
Scott, just give. I want you to tell me roughly what you thought at the start of the season, how the season would go, and how in these opening 4 games. Are you still kind of, has your opinion stayed the same as where you think we'll end up?
I still think we might make playoffs, but it'll be a push at the moment. Anyhow, I haven't seen a lot from us to warrant us pushing for automatic.
Yeah.
I think it's between like 6th to 10th. I've got us down at minute. I can't see it being any higher than that.
It's so early, isn't it?
It is. It's so early at minute. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how it pans out for the rest of the season. Just let me change subjects. I know I've seen your jacket, mate. I've seen your jacket. What's your tip for next season then, when you've got Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari, assuming that you are an F1 fan?
Yeah, I love F1. Well, there's nobody better, is there, really, apart from Max at winning titles. But can he fetch it to Ferrari? That's the thing. And can Ferrari deliver in car?
I think the second question is the only question, realistically. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But it's going to be really interesting. Don't agree with you on the Max thing, but we'll have a chat about that another day.
I don't like Max myself.
No, I don't either. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting season next year. Very, very interesting.
I'll just keep my head down.
Always best when Mick's talking about F1, to be honest with you, don't
Yeah.
Don't get started.
Don't get me started, because there's plenty of people I can insult there as well.
Yeah, let's
Don't get me wrong, Christian Warner.
Sorry.
Before I let you go, Scott, give us your prediction for Saturday. Is it going to be a first away win in a million days?
Oh, I'd give anything for an away win, to be honest. I think anybody would. But I'll go for a draw. I can't. I don't think we'll beat Charlton away. I hope we do, but I can't see it.
Tough place to go in it. Very,
It
very.
Yeah,
Even if we're
the Valley's a hell of a
brilliant
place
form,
to go.
our record's horrific. I'll give you the stats on Thursday, but our record's horrific there.
Yeah. Unsurprisingly.
What was the score last time we were there? Was it 1-1?
1-1 when Connor Washington scored for them.
Oh, and Mikel Miller scored for us, didn't he?
Nine testimony. I just can't
I
remember.
think we went 1-0 up in that game as well, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, we did. Yeah. Yeah. No, well, throwing away leads. Thank you very much, Scott. Thank you for coming on this, mate. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, pal.
Cheers, guys.
Have a good one, mate.
All the best.
Thank you very much. If anybody else wants to jump on, the links are everywhere. If you check the show notes on Twitter, probably on Facebook actually as well. But Mick's gone. Has Mick's Wi-Fi gone? Oh no.
Well, I'm still there, mate. I just thought I'd try and shock you.
Okay. You try to keep us on his toes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
It'd be a perfect hat trick, wouldn't it, if everyone's Wi-Fi went tonight?
It would. Yeah.
Although it would start a conspiracy that it's Tuesday nights when they fiddle with all servers to try and update everything. Because if everyone goes down, I imagine we're all on different broadband networks. Tuesday night is the fiddle about now with the servers.
We'll just blame Tom because Tom's not here. So it's something Tom's messing around with some system.
Yeah, Tom's stealing all the Wi-Fi to do his exam. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
Must be a big file to upload.
This is your last show is for a week, Danny, isn't it? You're not back with us next Thursday?
No, I'm not. Thursday is just some personal time with the girlfriend before she goes on holiday because she's going to Gran Canaria, the sod. And then Sunday I'm doing a fun close shift. But if you want to watch me talking Rotherham stuff on the Charlton Chronicle podcast,
Yes.
I believe it is, I'll be on there between about 8:30, 20 to 11 tomorrow night. So have a look at that if you can't get enough of my face. But yeah, other than that, it's a week without me, unfortunately.
How will we get by?
You've got Tom.
We've got Tom. We've got Joy on Thursday as well. Joy's coming back on. We'll see if Kev's available for Sunday as well. Hopefully we get some points on the board for your predictions as well. Because you're all doing rubbish except Tom, who's top of the league with one correct prediction. Anything else? Safe standing. Do you want to shout at the club for the safe standing, or are we just going to let them have?
Yeah, I'll shout at the club for safe standing. We've been crying out for it the last 4 fan forums, and now that someone said, "Oh, health and safety," suddenly it's been implemented.
Do you think they'll get a grant for that, or didn't they have to install it all themselves?
I'm not sure, to be honest, because it seems to be the way that Rotherham United do changes to the stadium is either someone else pays for it or we're forced to do it. You know, it's like we had the new lights put in because we had the Women's Euros.
Yeah.
We had the what was it? We had the flowers on the memorial board because I think it was the Disabled Supporters Association that paid for those. I'm not sure on the LED boards, but I imagine someone will have paid for them.
They're probably paid for sponsorship, aren't they? To be fair,
yeah, potentially. And now Safety Advisory Group have said, "Oh, health and safety, you'll need your away fans to be safe." It's like, right, okay, so we need to chuck our ends down the seats like idiots when we score in the north stand, and then we might get safe standing in there. Right, sound. That's no reason.
Did it explain what the problem was? Is it we just think idiots being idiots, or is there something else? Because
I'm not sure.
I saw it didn't say anything specific.
There was an incident when the last season where I can't remember which set of clowns it were, but there were a couple of them. I can't remember throwing themselves down seats and just basically being clowns. But I mean, I don't know. It's a non-issue for me, but that's a personal issue. I mean, I'm not bothered about standing up. When we went to Cardiff, they got the safe standing area there, and it just did nothing for me whatsoever. But then I'm past it, aren't I? So my old legs won't hold out for a full 90 minutes.
I wonder which safe standing thing it is, because like I say, at Cardiff, they've got the proper bar and lock seats stand if you want to sort of thing. But we were told time and again that the stadium is not designed for that. And that's why we've not implemented it before. So I wonder if it's just everyone's going to be stood up with more eyes on them, potentially.
Don't know.
No, there's got to be they're losing title, Danny, isn't it? You know, that's not safe standing, is it?
Yeah,
we've got that already. So there's going to be some barriers in place, I would have thought. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe we could charge more for safe standing areas.
Now you're talking. Especially if Leeds comes down. Especially when Leeds come.
Well, they'll
There's
stand
Leeds
up
premium.
anyway.
Yep, Leeds in.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. 60 quid for standing.
Yeah.
Just
if your team wears all white and you want to stand, it's 30, an extra 30 quid.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie, that covers some annoying teams. Leeds, Tottenham, and MK Dons. They all wear white, don't they?
Okay, well, Tottenham normally. Oh, they do. Oh, white. Yeah, Tottenham. Sod you.
Swansea as well. Yeah.
It's their own faults for not having black shorts like they used to. Spurs and Swansea. Anyway, Sam, is it happening because the stewards can't control the crowd? I suppose that's part of it, where they can't get people to go where they're meant to. I've seen mentioned that safe standing in the home end would help the atmosphere. Not necessarily, because in safe standing you still have a seat. If you've got a seat ticket, you still have a section. You don't just stand where you want within that section. The only way that it would necessarily helps the atmosphere is if it's unrestricted, so you can kind of sit wherever you want, so the people that sit together. The actual standing part of it won't help the atmosphere, I don't think.
I suppose it depends on where they put the safe standing. If they put it down at the front, it wouldn't do anything. But if you put it at the back, maybe.
They'd have to do a proper, I don't like the phrase singing section, but they'd have to do something like that, which would take a lot of effort and a lot of organisation to kick some people out of the seats, to do this. People just get upset about it, to be honest with you.
Let's leave it. Let's go with playing football.
Okay.
That's my view.
We'll leave that to the footballers. That's
Yeah.
right.
Leave that to footballers and leave health and safety to us. Let's not have some health and safety Nazis telling us what we can and can't do.
Do you want to be the health and safety officer for New York Talk as well as the creative director?
Could be if you want, yeah. I could be. I can sign it off. What do you want to do? Yeah, that's safe, mate. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Wear a hat.
Wear a hat. This is a hard hat.
Wear a helmet.
Cool. There you go. Makes the new health and safety officer for the show.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Martin Burns says, but when you get on your feet, you get going. So he said it does encourage him, yeah. Possibly, yeah. Sam says safe standing doesn't work at the Etihad, which is the Etihad.
That's true.
Sounds like a Man City issue, to be fair.
Yeah, it does, yeah. Tourists. Right? You charge £300 for tourists to come to your stadium, and guess what? They don't create an atmosphere. Who'd have thought?
Who knew?
Right. Let's knock it on head. Thank you, everybody who has joined us. Thank you to Scott, who joined us earlier as well. It's been fun. We've talked about nonsense, as we tend to do with these aimless episodes. We just jabber on about stuff, and we get Mick ranting, give him a new job title. Strange things happen in these short shows.
How did that happen, by the way? I mean, 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago, I only had one job on this podcast. I've now ended up with two, and I've not even settled. Anyway,
and you get paid for neither as well.
Get paid for neither.
Yes, you're the volunteer health and safety officer.
God, that sounds like a punishment, not a job title.
Thank you all who have joined us. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube if you haven't done so already. So the next couple of days, we will do a scouting report from Charlton. That's booked in, so that'll be out Friday morning as it is normally. We'll do the full preview show, which will be Thursday evening as normal, which will be a full preview of the Charlton game and pick up any other news that may happen over the next 24 to 48 hours. And then back Sunday, and we'll continue through there over till the next international break, which may or may not go ahead as this one. Are you really happy not to have an international break, by the way? How great is it to continue playing football? It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's class.
Love it.
I'm sure Wednesday has a close Tim Pot, but I love there's no international break. It's so good.
Yeah.
Mick's going to try and put the right outro on. He's going to try and use this season's credits. See what happens.
I might not.
That's the third thing he's got to do. So let's see if it works. Mick, Danny, thank you very much for being on with us on a Tuesday night. We'll see you all next time. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
I think I always made the comment that once a Miller, always a Miller.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! Good heavens, he's done it again! Another promotion for the big man.
I've got 12 bottles of champagne in my office and we're going to drink them all night.
Do me a favor, drop me off in